From the studio at FC Public Media, it's FoCo Underground Comedy Edition. This week featuring David Rodriguez. With tonight's host, Jacob Erdman.
I'm going to be your host and MC. My name is Jacob Erdman. This is a Fort Collins Public Access and 970 comedy production. So welcome. Give you guys a big round of applause for showing up. This is amazing. Very excited about it. We have an amazing show. So let's get ready with the jokes. Let's get ready for the jokes. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I have never tried in my life. Never once. I've always been smart enough to get decent grades, athletic enough to be on varsity, and white enough never to have a criminal record. It's been pretty great. I've never tried in my life. That is until I found comedy. Oh, what a tragic irony that was. Comedy is a bitch, but she's totally doable. Let's put it that way. A lot of my friends in comedy use the term comedy life, and I can't really relate to that because I'm more of a comedy lifer. Like, I never really wanted to live that shoulda, woulda, coulda life. Like, I want to die knowing I have failed at comedy. Like, without a doubt. Just no questions about it. He tried his best, but goddamn it, he failed. And so I graduated college. I graduated college back in 2006. And I wanted to double major in partying and women. But instead, I graduated with a geography degree and minored in rejection. So that was fun. A lot of people like that one. But ironically enough, when I was going to college, I had no idea that I was investing in my own future. But I'll tell you what, that minor in rejection really gave me a leg up in the comedy scene. Like across the board. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen my comedy before, but basically it's like 95% rejection, 4% miscellaneous, and 1% success. But once you've tasted that 1%, baby, it is the sweetest plum. It's amazing. Now, there is a rule of thumb when it comes to comedy. There's a rule of thumb, and it's write what you know. And if you've ever seen my comedy, you notice that I don't really write that much about sex. That's because I don't really crush puss. I'm not a puss crusher, as the millennials would say. I don't give off that raw sexual energy like some people. I give off more of like a big sister vibe. But like a big sister that's really good advice. And that's not conducive to a lot of sex at all. Not at all. And as a result of that, I frequent a lot of online dating sites. And with an annual budget of $0, you can imagine which ones I frequent. A lot of swiping in my life, a lot of swiping. And I noticed something about the online dating sites that I don't really like. It's within the idea of what the women are looking for. It seems like all these women are constantly looking for nice, funny guys. No, you're not. You're not looking for a nice, funny guy. You're looking for an attractive man who happens to be nice and funny, and that guy hasn't been single since high school. And he's gay. Ladies, I implore you. I'm not telling you to lower your standards by any means. I'm asking you to lower your standards. For all the nice, funny guys out there, please, all the swipe lefts you've been doing, all of them, allow us to take you out and treat you like the goddamn queens that you are. Please, one time. Now, I did some research with this joke. And it turns out I have a type. I had no idea that I had a type. But it turns out that I will only and exclusively date women who will date me. Like, across the board. Like, I'm a huge feminist when it comes to dating. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I'm trying to give them good advice. I'm like, don't date me. Don't do that. Don't hitch your wagon to this star. Like, it is not going anywhere. Like, I'm not marriage material. Only because I hate marriage. Like, I love weddings, but I hate marriage. Does that make sense? Like, I was invited to a lot of weddings last year, but it's different at my age. I'm a 34-year-old man. So I'm being invited to my friends' like second and third marriage. And I'm like, don't make me an accessory to your failure. Like, no more. Like, please don't do that. And weddings are expensive for me. They're very expensive for me. I'm originally from Wisconsin. So that means I got to buy the plane ticket. I got to rent the hotel. I got to rent the escort. Like, shit adds up. And I'm not talking about the hit 1980s four-door sedan. Oh, no. I'm talking about prostitutes, y'all. Wisconsin prostitutes. They like two things, beer and cheese. Shit is expensive. It's very expensive. It's crazy. And you know, it's a whole lot of lady, basically. It's a whole lot of lady. And you know the old Wisconsin axiom, if she ain't 280, she ain't a lady? Well, by golly, they are living up to that. They are living up to that. And I'm all for personal expression. I'm all for personal expression. But I think one of the dumbest things you can do outside of getting married is getting a tattoo of a wedding ring on your finger. Every single time I see somebody with a tattoo of a wedding ring on their finger, it's like looking at a Carl's Jr. with a really big parking lot. I'm like, what were you thinking? Like, who greenlit that? And I love love. I love the idea of love. But I think it's so funny when I see somebody who's under the age of 25 who's either married or already engaged. Because I know in 10 years or less, statistically speaking, in 10 years or less, I'm going to have an opportunity to sleep with that girl. Like, that shit is not going to work out at all. That is doomed for failure. Best case scenario, she's going to be 35 and in a loveless marriage. Best case scenario. And I feel that if religion actually cared about marriage, they would encourage premarital sex. Otherwise, you would just have divorce rates in the 55th percentile. And that's not even a joke. That's like the reality of the situation. Like, that's how it goes right now. It's crazy. Now, some Muslims believe, and stick with me on this one, some Muslims believe that if you die and go to heaven, you get 72 virgins. I'm like, fuck that. I don't want 72 virgins. Give me 5 35-year-olds who just got out of a loveless marriage any day. Like, you don't need permission to get on top. Let's party. This is what we do. This is what we do at the Comedy Underground. That's how we party here. That's exactly what we're doing. And I feel that like 20 or 72 virgin thing is very one-sided. Like, I can't imagine a Muslim female being excited to go to heaven. Like, instead, she shows up to heaven and she's like, 72 male virgins? What am I gonna do with 72 male virgins? I took my shirt off, I made 72 male virgins come, and I still haven't had sex yet. Am I in the right heaven? Is this heaven? You know what? Fuck off, Allah. Where's Jesus? Oh, great. He's part of the 72 club. Awesome. Awesome. And that's fine. I can make fun of Jesus because I was born and raised in a Christian household. And it never really stuck with me. And I was wondering why. And it was because of all the infighting. Christians are fighting Christians, Muslims are fighting Muslims, and everybody is fighting the Jews. I don't get it. They're a very handsome people with very handsome penis. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. And I was thinking, like, why is there so much infighting? And it's because of the religious text. The religious text is open for interpretation. I mean, honestly, that's like calling God and being like, what up, dog? Because that's how we roll. That's God backwards. What up, dog? How you doing? How do you get to your house, God? And God, instead of answering you, he tells you a parable about a tortoise and a hare whose main point is just follow your heart. Follow your heart and you'll find your way to my house. Bullshit. Bullshit. Basically what I'm saying is that there's only two types of people out there who give directions that are open for interpretation. That's a bad writer or someone who doesn't want you to get there. And honestly, I think it's the latter. I think it's the latter. And I got bad news for Christians. Jesus ain't coming back. Not because he doesn't exist, but because he's too afraid of today's magicians. That's right. Jesus is looking down from heaven and being like, Dad, damn it. 2,000 years ago, water into wine and fish sandwiches really sold the crowd. Now I look down there, and there's this guy named David Blaine who's literally sticking metal stakes through his arm and pulling it out without even bleeding. If I could have performed that miracle, I would have just jumped off the cross and continued teaching. All right, that's my time. My name is Jacob Erdman. You guys are beautiful. Are you guys ready for your headliner? He's a really good friend of mine. He runs a lot of shows out of Fort Collins. He's currently running the Aggie Comedy Series. He's a part of the Fort Collins comedy group called Fort Comedy. Please give a big round of applause for my good friend, Mr. David Rodriguez.
Jacob Erdman, everybody. One more time for Jacob. Jacob was talking a lot about Jesus. What do you think the relationship between Jesus and Joseph was like? You know, like do you think he called him dad? Or was it like, you know, he'd be going off to school and they'd be like, have a great day at school, you know, middle school age Jesus, and he'd be like, thanks, love you, Mom, bye, Joe. You know, it's just I don't know. It's winter now. It's finally starting to snow a little bit. I hope you guys are all driving safe. Hope you're all safe winter drivers. I myself am an incredible winter driver because I moved here from Arizona. Sounds counterintuitive, but I'm serious because we were taught to respect and fear the snow. Okay? So I'm cautious, 10 and 2. I'm paying attention. Like when I moved here, several people were like, hey, you know, just a little tip. Since you're coming from a place that doesn't have snow, just so you know, it's actually more dangerous if you drive slower. That's real advice that came out of human brains and heads at me. That makes no sense. It's not more dangerous to be more safe. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, if you're going to have sex, just so you know, it's actually more dangerous if you wear a condom. You know? Like you wouldn't know that if you come from a place that doesn't have sex, you know? But like it's not accurate. Don't drive safer. All right. Like everybody's driving is terrifying. Like when after the election happened, like I saw so many people on social media being like, this is the end of humanity, you know? But like I was driving down 25 and I was driving next to a kid who was fully using a laptop with both hands while driving. So it's like, how much longer did we really have? You know? Like as a people, you know? Probably not long. I did move out here from the desert and it's great and people are like, oh, desert, like isn't that just depressing though? Like living in the desert? Like, yeah, it is, but it's a dry depression. So it's actually not as bad. Talking about depression, I heard a stat that Wyoming, our neighbor to the north, actually has the highest suicide rate per capita in the country, which sounds intense, but then you remember it's like Wyoming, you know? And it's like per capita means like relative to the number of people who are there. So that just means in like 2012, like 9 people killed themselves and they're like, oh no, that's most of us, you know? Like, what are we gonna do? I don't know. Wyoming's a stressful place right next to Colorado because like weed is legal here and everybody's so chill. And then in Wyoming, like every single person sounds like they could be local law enforcement, you know? Like I can't talk to anybody in Wyoming. They're just like, sir, how you doing? I'm showing my ID immediately. And they're like, sir, this is a Wendy's drive-through. And I'm a 14-year-old girl, you know? Like that. You're under arrest. So it's fine. I like the desert. I was just out in Vegas, and Las Vegas is one of my favorite cities in the country. Like I love being in Vegas because you learn real quick. There are 2 types of people in this world, and you learn that after you go out and you're partying and drinking with your friends till you're walking back through your hotel room 2 or 3 in the morning. See a room service tray in the hotel hallway with a cheeseburger on it. That's not yours. There are 2 types of people in this world. There are people who will eat that cheeseburger and not feel bad about it, and people who think they're better than me, okay? Guess which one I am. You know what I mean? I love it because there's no last call in Vegas. 24 hours, around the clock you can drink. And so you see these young people coming out and they experience that for the first time, have no idea how to handle it, So I love that city because you get to see the most beautiful people in the country, oftentimes on the worst day of their life. And I think we can all agree, as Americans, that there is nothing better than watching a hot person have a bad time. You know what I mean? It's the best. It's the best. I was walking down the strip, I saw this beautiful girl, gorgeous, blonde, perfect 10, just sitting cross-legged half on the street, half in the sidewalk, purse just sprawled out everywhere, no shoes, mascara just running. She's just sobbing, just going, "Where's Julie?" Mwah. What a great moment for me. You know what I mean? I'm not a monster, obviously. I'm still going to make sure this person's all right. I'm like walking over to check on her, and I see an equally hot, equally drunk girl walking down like straight towards her. So I'm like, oh, perfect. They're part of the same, pack or Coachella tribe, whatever it called. I don't know, what group of hot girls, whatever you call that, And she's walking straight towards her. I'm like, oh, perfect. They know each other. And the second one just walks up, leans down over the first one, and just goes, "Vegas, bitch." Just leaves off into the night. Oh, all right. It's fun city. It was, oh man, I gotta tell you about it. It was great up until the last day. I was there with friends, but they had like taken an Uber up the strip, and I'm walking out into the parking garage to get my car, and I'm walking through the garage, and I can see it, and there's a dude actively breaking into my car, which is a nightmare when you look like, what am I, I don't know what to do in that scenario, but like instinct just took over, and I just went, "Hey, that's my car." And I was like, whoo, like a surprise. Have you ever surprised yourself with your own bravery before? It's a cool feeling, This guy hears me yell that, looks up, sees me, and just goes, "Shut up." Instinct took over again. I just went, "Sorry." I just said sorry. Said sorry to him for some reason. I don't know why my brain thought I was the asshole and that, my brain's like, well, he's at work. You're yelling at him. Like, don't. Calling 911. 911, there's someone breaking into my car and I think he hates me, It's just like, just bummed about it. Operator's just like, "Vegas, bitch, that's what happens." Like that's, all right. That's fair. Back here now, I love Colorado. We've been here like 6 years now, and I love it. I've gotten to go all around the state and do comedy. There are some funky little towns like all around the state, like, especially up in the mountains. Like I've gotten to see a lot of places. I did a show a couple weeks ago in a place called Oak Creek, Colorado. Yep, that's accurate. All right, nobody blank stares. It's just if you've never heard of it, it's a tiny town with a total population of 800 people. Like that's to give you an idea of how small of a town that is, I got there and found out that the person who booked me on the show is the mayor of the town. And she was also the bartender at the venue, okay? Like that's a small town, Like they were smoking cigarettes inside. And I was like, I didn't know you could legally do that anywhere in Colorado. This old dude sitting right up front just blows smoke right in my face. He was like, "Who are you gonna tell?" Nobody. I want to get out of Oak Creek alive. You know what I mean? That's a small town. Like it's, the comic before me was trying to do online dating jokes. I'm like, what are you doing? We're in Oak Creek, Colorado. There's 800. Most of the town is here right now. Like nobody's online, online dating in Oak Creek, Colorado. You'd be like, "Oh yeah, I got a match." It's fucking Karen, just like, "Karen, I told you to quit." She's just right there. You know what I mean? Like that's. Nobody's doing that. But I love seeing those little towns because it's like real salt of the earth people. Like they're like gritty, like they're all like iron workers, cattle ranchers, like real like hands-on jobs, like tough people. Like you don't realize how soft you get living in bigger cities. Like I was out in Old Town the other night, and this is a real story that I heard one person tell another person. He said, "Oh my God, last night was a disaster. Brad had too many shots. He started throwing up, and we had to take him to Denny's." That's a real story. Like that's it. That's the whole story. Like that's like if somebody starts a story with, "Oh my God, it was a disaster," in somewhere like Oak Creek, Colorado, somebody's dead for sure. How was it last night? "Oh God, it was a disaster. A bull kicked Brad in the dick so hard he threw up one of his own testicles." Like. Then we had to take him to Denny's. You know what I mean? It's just like Denny's and the hospital is just one building in Oak Creek, Colorado. It's the same. But I love it here. I just got married. Me and my girlfriend just got married last month. So thank you. I love it. I love being married. We've been together a long time, so like getting married, our relationship didn't really change that much, but I feel more mature, immediately just having that official title, like it just feels cooler. Like instead of saying stuff like my girlfriend keeps telling me to get a real job, now I say my wife handles our finances, It just sounds more grown up that way. I was driving home from a show from Denver, and we'd been married for 3 days. And I was driving home from a show, and she texted me. It was 10 o'clock at night, and she was like, "Can you pick me up some feminine products from the store?" And I'm like, "Sure." Like 10 years we've been together. Never one time has she asked me. We've been married 3 days. I'm like, we're settling in real quick here. Like that's all right. Let's get to know each other finally. Like that's. But I'm like, absolutely, I'll do that. That's a sensitive request to make of another person. But it's my wife, love of my life. Absolutely, I'm secure enough in myself to do that for you. So I text her back, "What kind do you need?" She texts me back, "Whatever." And that is not fine. Guys, I don't know if you've ever had to make this purchase before, but it is not a simple, it's not just like this one or this one. It's a whole wall, right? This is a whole situation. There's all sorts of colors and sizes, and you're like, why is this one $45, Like, is it made of real pearls? Like, I don't understand. Like, how's she just gonna send me in here and be like, what? I'm not gonna just wing it, no pun intended. Gross. All right, what? No. So I'm by myself. I'm looking up at this wall. I'm totally lost. This dude employee comes up and he's like, "Can I help you find anything?" I was like, "I don't know. Can you?" He looks up and sees where we are and he just goes, "Tap," and he just left. He just walked away. I was like, all right. And then, finally, a woman comes up and she's like, "Can I help you find anything?" I was like, "My wife texted me. She needs one of these products. I don't know what she wants or what she needs, And she asked me, "Okay, no problem. At what point in her cycle is she?" Yeah. I was like, first of all, ew. Second of all, I don't have that information. I'm a dude. They don't give us that. That's classified. That's. I don't, for reference, if it helps, 2 days ago, she yelled at me for taking out the trash wrong, if that helps. I don't know what that means, but maybe I'm showing her my wife on, this is what she looks like, What do you think based on... How's she just gonna be like, what? My wife has strong opinions on what kind of chips to get with her sandwich. How's she gonna be like, whatever at a time like this, Just bring me whatever. I'm like, fine. I picked up the salt and vinegar tampons, and it's just like, that's what you get. We have 2 kids, which is fine. It's fine. It's 2. When we had 1, I'd be like, "We have a kid." They're like, "Yeah." I tell people we have 2, and they're like, "Oh, so you did that on purpose?" All right. The magic is. Younger siblings don't like to hear that. Younger siblings are like, they love the older one more. Everybody knows that they love the older one more. And I'm here to tell you, as a parent, that that's just not true. It's not true. We don't love the older one more. It's just that every parent has a very finite amount of energy. You know what I mean? So it's like we love you both less. Does that make sense? Equal, but both less. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, your love is like a sandwich. Okay, I use this analogy. Your love is like a sandwich. You go through your whole life. You have your sandwich all to yourself. You're never hungry. It's just great. You got this whole sandwich. It's perfect. You meet the person you want to be with for the rest of your life. You're like, oh my God, you're amazing. Here's half my sandwich. They're like, oh, you're amazing. Here's half my sandwich. So we're both still whole sandwich, never hungry. Everything's great. And then that first kid comes along. He's like, yeah, what the fuck are those? Sandwiches? Hand them over. Mom, I'm going to need that whole sandwich. Guy, Mom, I'm going to need that whole sandwich, And then you have nothing, and you're so hungry all the time. You're starving because they took all your sandwiches. And then the second one comes along. He's like, I was told there were sandwiches. not sharing with that asshole. I want my own sandwich. That's why dads go out to the store and never come back. They're just getting sandwich stuff, you know? What I'm trying to say is I should have eaten before this set, I think. That's what... Just hungry. My daughter is 2 now, and she is just the most arrogant person I've ever met. And like I realize that's all toddlers. All toddlers are the most arrogant person you've ever met because literally their whole life, all they hear is like, "You're the best. You're the smartest. You're the strongest." You know, so they're ready to just fight everybody. You know. Like, I'm a good dad. I'm a really good dad, but it's still, man, when a 2-year-old says something like, "I'm way faster than you, Dad," like, it still takes a lot of restraint. You know, to not just lean down and be like, "You ain't shit, homie." You know, just like, "Oh, you want to race? You want to race? I'm already there. Where are you? Where are you? Still learning how to walk?" That's what I thought. You know, like you want to check them somehow, but you can't. It's against the law. My son is older. He's 7, and like the arrogance only grows. Like he's just like yeah, like everything's like what's up? The other day he was like, "Dad, let me see your phone." I was like, rude, you know, like how about, you know, please, like what YouTube video did you learn that from? You know, it was like he's just like, "Just let me see your phone," and I was like, "Do not break it." And first of all right, I want to talk about a lot of that's a big thing with parents is like they talk about like YouTube and screen time, and that's a whole like how much, you know, these electronics are so ubiquitous, and like people don't think it's good for these kids. They're like, "Oh well, you know, we didn't have that growing up. All we had was wooden blocks," and it's just like, well, like I think it's important to immerse them in this technology now so that they learn about it, and you know, like they're not so gullible and vulnerable because the internet is terrifying. Like when we were like our generation, when the internet was invented, we thought it'd be a safe and fun idea to have chat rooms. What's it like chat rooms? Like our generation thought it was totally fine to just go into a room full of complete strangers and be like, "I'm a 12-year-old girl in California. Who wants to talk to me?" And the internet was like, "Hello." "I too am a 12-year-old girl." And then a bunch of teens had sex murders done on them, and now we can't have chat rooms anymore. We learned from our mistakes, and we need to teach the young kids the dangers of. But yeah, and then we still do the online dating thing, so that just blows me away. I don't know how like online dating is. Like if I was a murderer, that would be the easiest. You just make a profile of just like a young Asian girl or whatever and be like, "I'm down for butt stuff." And then just like 2 a.m. just start swiping, you know? You'd have a line of murder victims out your door. I could open the door wearing a Dexter kill smock and a running chainsaw and they'd be like, "You're not Asian," you know? Like, it'd be so easy. People are dumb. All right. So he's like, "Give me your phone. Let me see your phone." I was like, "Don't drop it." He's like, "I'm not going to drop it." He takes it one step, face plants the phone, shatters it, like totally shatters the screen. I'm like, "Oh," and he's like, "Shouldn't have given it to me." And I was like, like, I'm not saying that you should be able to hit kids. I am saying you should be able to hit kids one time, like just one time, you know what I mean? Like just so that they know that it can happen. Like I'm not a Trump supporter at all, but if the president came out tomorrow and was just like, by office of the president, every American citizen on their child's 8th birthday gets a 100% strength backhand slap across the face, I'd be like, "Build the wall, build the wall," you know, like. I am on board. 100%. Like it would be like, you know, he's like blowing out the candles on his cake. I'm like, "What'd you wish for, bud?" You know, we're just like, "Bah!" Because I wish for some goddamn respect around here. All right, thank you guys so much. I've been David Rodriguez. Give it up for Jacob.
David Rodriguez, everybody. Thank you so much for coming and supporting. This is great. Our next show is on the 31st, which is in 2 Wednesdays. We have Zach Reiner coming out. And so please donate generously. All the proceeds go to Fort Collins Public Access. And have a good night. Thank you so much for showing up.